What we're going to take a look at now is creating a function within one control rig, which we can reuse in different control rigs within this project. And we're going to be using this function in the next section. So it's important that you actually create this and follow along and not just watch the video. So what we're going to do is first create a control rig, and that can be anywhere. So what I'm going to do is go to the mannequins folder. So the characters, mannequins, meshes, and then I'm going to use the SKM Mani. I'm going to right click on that and do create control rig. I'm going to rename this to rotation functions. And I'm going to put this inside the tutorial content folder. When we open up the rotation functions control rig that I've created, what we're going to do is create the function here, and we're going to make it accessible to other control rigs. So the way that we do that is, firstly, we'll create a new function, and I'm going to call this test123. Now we click on this function, and it doesn't matter what tab you're on, but when you click on this test123 function, you'll see on the right in the details panel, you have access specifier. It's by default set to private, which means only this control rig is able to use this function. However, if you change it from private to public, and then you compile and save, and I'm just going to open up some other control rig, so this is the one I was testing with earlier. What we can do is right click and search for test123, and you'll see that you can use your function from a different, and if you hover over it, you can see the control rig that it's coming from. So you can use a function from a different control rig, and you'll see that it's got the execution paths, and if we added inputs to this or outputs, we would see input options and output options here. So this is a good way to make a function, or just to have a control rig that contains all the functions that you might need. And it doesn't matter what skeletal mesh you're using. So in this case, we're using the SKM Mani, but it could be the Scorpion mesh or any other meshes that we've looked at. And this just helps you to keep things clean within control rig. So for example, if you wanted to make one character with some procedural animation and you make some custom functions, you might then be making another character which needs some of the same functionality. And rather than having duplicates where you have all these functions copied and recreated in a new control rig, you would just set them to public, and then you can access them from anywhere.